Cleetus McFarland had been behind the wheel for exactly 4 laps. The car went completely sideways at 150 miles per hour, 3 cars wide, no room to breathe. Every crew chief on that radio expected the worst. What happened next either saved his entire NASCAR career or ended it before it ever really started. Before we get to Rockingham, you need to understand why this race was such a big deal. Cleetus McFarland is not a career racing driver. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. He built a YouTube channel with over 4.6 million subscribers doing burnouts, building cars, and blowing stuff up in his backyard. That is who showed up at Rockingham Speedway on April 4th, 2026, driving for Richard Childress Racing. RCR is not some small outfit. This is the team that put Dale Earnhardt in victory lane. They won the 2025 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series Championship, and they handed that same number 33 Chevrolet to a guy whose biggest wins were on YouTube. The deal was 3 races in 2026 and 3 more in 2027. Rockingham first, then Daytona, then Talladega. Sponsor was Tommy's Express, a car wash chain with 272 locations across America. They believed in Cleetus so much they put their name on the hood. Not everyone agreed with that call. Rick Ware Racing Competition Director Tommy Baldwin went public before the race and said Cleetus was hurting himself by jumping to the O'Reilly Series too fast. His exact words, "The guy does not even know the difference between a pro-late model and a super-late model." Baldwin's argument was simple: get more experience first, then bring the fans. Cleetus had a different view. He told the Dale Jr. Download, "I think right now I'm the rookie and people can say whatever they want. But when I keep coming back every time and they realize that their words don't affect me, they're going to run out of breath." That confidence either looked very smart or very stupid by the end of Saturday. We'll get to which one. Here is something most people missed about Rockingham weekend. Cleetus did not just show up for 1 race. He ran 2 in the same day. That morning, he climbed into the number 30 Retta Jones racing car for the ARCA Menards East race at the same track, and he had the run of his career. He started in the middle of the field, worked his way up, and finished 4th. A career best result in any NASCAR-sanctioned event. After the race, he was fired up. "Honestly, I just went out there and turned left. I had more confidence today than I've ever had in a stock car." He also mentioned his mentor, Greg Biffle, the NASCAR legend who had been coaching Cleetus before Biffle died in a plane crash last December. Cleetus said, "I think he'd be happy I didn't do anything stupid." 4th place, career best, emotional tribute to his late mentor. That was the morning. The afternoon was a completely different story. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Rockingham was 250 laps. Cleetus started 35th. He did not even make it to lap 5 before things got wild. Coming into turn 1, 3 cars tried to go 3 wide at the same time. Cleetus was on the bottom. His number 33 broke loose. The rear end stepped out. At 150 miles per hour, that is the moment most people wreck. He did not wreck. Somehow, Cleetus caught the car, kept it off the wall, kept it out of the other cars, and kept driving. Remember that save, because it matters for what NASCAR has to decide about him next. His spotter and crew were in full damage control after that. The order from the pit box was clear: stop pushing, stay on track, do not wreck. That single moment on lap 4 changed the entire strategy for the rest of the race. Lap 25. Cleetus was already 1 lap down. That is how steep the gap is between a YouTuber and NOAPS regulars, even with an RCR car underneath him. Coming off turn 3, the number 33 broke loose again. This time there was no save. The car slid all the way down to the bottom of the track and spun back up into traffic. Yellow flag. Everyone talking, and then, with 44 laps left, Cleetus spun again off turn 4, his 3rd major incident of the afternoon. But here is the part that stung the most. With the race winding down, his own RCR teammate Austin Hill made contact with the number 33 and sent Cleetus spinning, your own team, on your debut day. When the checkered flag came out, Cleetus McFarland was 32nd, 6 laps down, behind winner William Sawalich, who lapped him 6 times over 250 laps. On the radio, after crossing the finish line, Cleetus said 3 words: "That might be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Not a burnout in a field, not building a 1,000 horsepower engine, not any of the insane stuff on his channel. Driving a stock car at Rockingham for 250 laps around full-time NASCAR professionals was the hardest thing he had ever done. His first question after getting out of the car, "Did I ruin anyone's day other than my own?" He knew it was messy. He owned it completely. And then he did something that got the entire NASCAR world talking again. So all in all, I made a ton of mistakes and I learned a lot. I hope to stay more out of the news than I did, but I have a lot to learn. And you know, all this internet talk, it got me thinking, maybe I shouldn't come back. That is the moment this story went from a rough debut to a headline, because Talladega is a 200-mile-per-hour super speedway, and NASCAR has not said yes yet. This is where it gets complicated, and this is where Cleetus's whole 2026 season is hanging in the balance. RCR Vice President of O'Reilly Series Operations, Danny Lawrence, said this after the race. "He learned a lot in a short amount of time. I think he did a great job, but we got to be better." Then came the part nobody expected from his own team. Lawrence said NASCAR may not approve Cleetus for Talladega at all. His reason, NASCAR wanted to see specific things at Rockingham: live pit stops, controlled racing in traffic, clean laps under pressure. A lot of those things did not happen the way NASCAR needed to see them. Lawrence was direct. "When he got sideways early, we automatically went into conservation mode. It's going to be close, but I would not be surprised if NASCAR didn't want us to run another race before we got to Daytona and Talladega." Talladega at 200 miles per hour with 40 cars running inches apart is a different sport compared to Rockingham. If Cleetus makes one wrong move there, it does not just end his day. It ends other people's days too. And that is exactly what his critics have been saying all along. Justin Allgaier, one of the NOAPS veterans who raced at Rockingham, gave a fair take. "It's not that I don't think he respected it when he started, but I think he respects more the time and effort that goes into this than he did before. I hope he had a great time and runs 100 races, or he runs one more. He did a good job." Coming from a veteran racer, that is not nothing. Go back to that lap 4 save for a second. At 150 miles per hour, 3 cars wide, completely sideways, most drivers with Cleetus's experience would have wrecked. Full stop. He did not. That one moment is the reason his team, his sponsor, and some NASCAR people believe this can work. He came into Rockingham with fewer than 12 full-bodied stock car starts on his entire resume. He was already lapped 25 laps into a 250-lap race by guys who do this every single week of their lives. And he still finished, still drove all 244 of his laps, still shook hands and answered questions and laughed at himself. That is not nothing either. But the question NASCAR has to answer right now is simple. Is what he showed at Rockingham enough to put him at Talladega on April 25th? Because Cleetus McFarland has already answered his part. He said, "See you there." The ball is in NASCAR's court.